I'm Richard from Early Retirement and Wanderlust, and it's very early morning, so there's no Jackie, she's up in bed. One of the biggest challenges of early retirement that I've struggled with is a simple lack of routine. And one of the things I've tried to work really hard at in my early retirement is making sure that I've got a good early morning routine to start the day off. So I'm hoping in the course of this short video that I can first of all take you through some of the reasons why and some of the benefits for what I get out of a pretty standard morning routine. I then want to try and take you through step by step some of the things that I do every morning that I think is really good for getting balance back in my life, and then along the way hopefully look at some of the benefits that I've had from 1 year of early retirement doing this routine every single day. The first benefit of having a set morning routine for me is that it just takes the whole thought process out of what I'm going to do in the morning. You don't really want to be wasting that much time thinking about what you're going to do, whereas if you've got a set routine, you can just crack on, do it, because that's what you do every single morning. For me, a morning routine is all about building effective habits in my life. Jerry Seinfeld, the famous American comedian who was a prolific writer of jokes, put it down to building the chain. He said it didn't matter how good your joke was, but you had to write a joke every day, and he built that chain over years. The longer the chain is, the stronger it is. James Clear in Atomic Habits talks a lot about the 1% improvements and the compounding effect over time of making those small improvements. And that's probably the biggest difference that my morning routine has made to my life. It's not what I do every day, but it's the compound effect of those minor changes over a period of time. One of the things I wanted to do in early retirement was to continue to learn, because as a teacher I was a great believer in lifelong learning, and my morning routine gives me an ideal opportunity, a little bit of quiet time to focus on my personal development and the things that I need to try and improve in my life. The final reason why I try and keep to an early morning routine is that it just gives me that little bit of space, that little bit of personal space, that quiet time. Getting up early before anyone else, before the world wakes up, is so peaceful, and it sounds a little bit hippy dippy, but it just gives you that sense of calm to begin the day in a positive way. I'm not your usual meditator. I find it really difficult to sit somewhere comfortably, and I certainly can't sit cross-legged, and I certainly can't sit on the floor and feel comfortable at the same time. So I do my meditation in bed, and that works really well for me. It means that I'm not focusing on the aches and pains in my body, and I am focusing on the things that you are being asked to focus on when you're meditating. So the first thing I do when I wake up is switch on my Calm app, put my headphones on, and do a daily meditate. The benefit of doing it through an app is that it's completely guided, so I don't have to do anything apart from just switch it on, listen into the cues and follow the guidance, and it's something that I really enjoy every day. It's really hard to describe what meditation brings to your life, and it's really hard to put your finger on the improvements that it makes. It's something that I do enjoy doing every day. It does make me feel a lot calmer. It does make me a little bit more reflective on what's happening around me, and it allows me to be a little bit more present in my day-to-day interactions. Now, I'm pretty certain you won't find this next routine in any self-help books, but it's a really important thing for me. As soon as I come downstairs, I pay a massive amount of attention to my little coffee ritual. Life is about enjoying the small things, and I love my coffee, and I admit over a period of time I think I've probably slipped into being a little bit of a coffee snob, but it's a great routine for me. It just grounds me. I've been journaling for a number of years now, and it was probably the thing that kept me sane towards the end of my working career. If at the start of my day I focus on the things that I'm really grateful for, the positive things in my life, the good things that are going on, then It's absolutely proven psychology that over the course of the day you then notice the positive things that happen to you rather than focusing on the negative things. Now, you can journal in any way. It doesn't need to be even in a notebook. It's just a matter of getting stuff off your mind and onto the paper. Journaling can range from a very free form, just brain dump onto the page, to something a little bit more structured. It'll come as no surprise. I quite like the structure because I like to take the thought process out of it, and I like someone to guide me in what I'm doing in my journaling. So I'm currently using the 6-minute diary. One of the things that I've added to the 6-minute journal structure is a little checklist. So at the start of every day, I have a series of things that I try to check off from the day before that I think are really good personal development attributes that I want to build into my life. It's a way of me keeping myself accountable, and it's a way of me keeping me focused on what my goals are. The 6-minute journal then takes you through a really simple 3-step approach to your morning journaling. First thing it asks you to do is to list down 3 things that you're grateful for. Remember, if you get 3 positives out of every day, then you get 21 positives out of the week, and that's that compound effect. The next thing it asks you to do is how I'm going to make today great. And the emphasis on this is it's not really a jobs to-do list. It does help you focus on what's important in the day, but it asks you to think about the impact prior to doing those tasks of how you're going to feel at the end of the day when it's done. And that's really important in terms of a motivator for me, because it gets me to prioritize the things that are the most important. So first things first, priorities really, rather than just being happy with being busy. And then the final thing that I struggle to get to grips with is a positive affirmation statement. I'm not a massive believer in affirmations, and it is the thing that I struggle with, but I'm battling through it in the hope that it does have a positive impact on what I do for the rest of the day. I'm going to be really honest with you. I hate mobility work, and the reason why I hate mobility work is that I'm rubbish at it. I am possibly the stiffest, most inflexible person that you could ever come across, and because I'm rubbish at it, I don't like doing it. At the start of the year, I knew that as a 50-plus person, I have to keep my mobility going. It's really important for lifelong health and well-being to make sure that my ankles, my knees, my hips and my shoulders are flexible to try and safeguard my health into the future. And I set out in January as one of my targets to improve my mobility, and it took me until June to actually knuckle down and build it into my routine. I had it on my checklist and I ignored it, so I just did something really simple. I went onto YouTube, found a 5-minute flexibility routine that I could do every single day. And then in my journal, rather than just ticking it off, I've actually started numbering the number of days that I've got. So I'm on my 17th consecutive day now, and it's something that is pretty much keeping me on it. Another thing I do in the morning as part of my morning routine is to try and build in some time to be creative. One of the things that we were adamant that we wanted to do when we early retired was to use that time productively and to not just stagnate. We wanted to be lifelong learners. So I will take some time in the morning, and it may well be that I'm writing a magazine article or writing for our blog, or most of the time YouTube editing, but it doesn't really matter. Those are all new skills to me, and it's something that in the morning I've got that quiet time and I can actually get on with those activities that I actually really value but sometimes can be forgotten in the busyness of the day. And how could I forget my daily Duolingo habit? This was actually something that was suggested by one of our subscribers when I explained on one of our previous videos how embarrassed I was about going to France and not being able to speak French. I've since built up a 176-day streak on Duolingo. I don't think I'm any better at French, but something that I build into my morning routine is to do my daily Duolingo. So that's it. I hope during the course of this video I've given you a little bit of an insight into some of the things that I do in the morning that have brought me comfort over the course of my first year of early retirement. Hopefully there are some things that perhaps might resonate with you and you might want to think about building into your own routine. The one thing I would say though is back to my original point about the atomic habits of James Clear, is the fact that if you can just make one small change in your life and do that every single day, then the payback for that just compounds and compounds and makes a huge impact 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, and so on. So look for those little changes, think about what you can incorporate into your daily routines, and I'd absolutely recommend getting up early, even though I know that Jackie won't agree with me on that one. So that's it from me. See you later.